So today is going to sound a little strange, but I want to talk on a podcast about podcasting and the benefits of it. So it's going to be called The Healing Power of Podcasting, Finding My Voice, My Calm and My Connection. So hello everyone and welcome back to Be Yourself Unapologetically. I'm so happy that you're here with me today because this episode is really a special one. It's about why podcasting has become my outlet, my therapy, my joy, and my way of connecting to the world in a way that feels raw, real, and healing. You know, when I started this podcast, I never imagined just how much it would change me. It wasn't just about sharing stories or advice, it became a mirror. A place where I could speak freely, explore topics that touch our everyday lives, and somehow feel lighter every single time I hit record. Today I want to take you behind the microphone. Not that I use a microphone, but, you know, and again, I'm just trying to, metaphorically speaking. So I'm going to talk to you about the science, the emotion, and the power of talking, storytelling, and connection. Because there's actually a lot of evidence to show that what we're doing here together has real psychological and neurological benefits. So grab your cup of tea, maybe light a candle, and let's talk about the positive experience of podcasting and how it's helped me and so many others find peace, confidence, and purpose. So the power of having a voice. When I first started podcasting, it felt like whispering into the universe, hoping someone might hear. But the act of speaking out loud, even when no one was listening, it was freeing, and it turns out that feeling isn't just emotional, it's biological. According to neuroscience research from the University of California, talking out loud activates the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for self-awareness and emotional regulation. When we give words to our thoughts, we literally calm the emotional centers of the brain, like the amygdala, the thing that I like to say even though I can't, which is linked to stress and fear. That means podcasting, or simply talking through what's on your mind, can act like a pressure release valve. It's why therapists often say, name it to tame it. When we voice our experiences, we take away their power to control us. And that's what this show became for me, and still is, a space to be honest about the mess, the growth, the joy. Well, all of it really. It's not about perfection, it's about connection. So why does podcasting feel like therapy? So have you ever noticed how talking about something heavy makes it lighter? There's actually a scientific reason for that too. Studies from Stanford University show that verbal expression, especially storytelling, activates the brain's default mode network, the same network involved when we daydream or process emotional experiences. This helps us make meaning out of what is happening to us. Podcasting for me has become a form of self-therapy. Every time I record an episode, whether it's about mental health, creativity, or simply learning to be kind to myself, I'm processing. It's not about having all the answers. It's about giving myself permission to explore the questions. And the best part? You, my listeners, often tell me about the topics we talk about, like burnout, boundaries, or self-acceptance. Mirror your own experiences. That's when I realised something beautiful. Podcasting isn't just my outlet, it's our outlet. The connection we crave. Humans are wired for connection. We are social creatures, down to our very cells. When we hear someone speak in a genuine, warm tone, our brains release oxytocin, often called the love hormone. So when you're listening to me and when I'm speaking to you, there's a real measurable bond forming between us. We may not be in the same room, but our nervous systems are syncing, our empathy is growing, and our loneliness is shrinking. In a 2021 study from the University of Essex, researchers found that people who engaged in meaningful conversations, even digitally, showed increased happiness and decreased cortisol levels, which we know by now is the stress hormone. So yes, podcasting is more than a creative outlet. It's a science-backed form of connection. It reminds us that our voices matter and that someone somewhere will always relate. The everyday topics that heal us. So one of the things I love most about podcasting is that everyday life becomes the content. We don't need to chase huge dramatic stories. The small ordinary moments, the cup of tea in the morning, the walk with your dog, the quiet evening after a long day, those are the real stories of being human. When I talk about things like anxiety, creativity, kindness or resilience, it's because they're the threads that tie us together. And psychologically, when we hear someone talk about relatable experiences, something called mirror neurons activate in our brains. Who'd have thought we have mirrors in our brains? But mirror neurons, these neurons help us feel what others feel. It's empathy in motion. That's why you cry when someone shares their heartbreak, or you smile when I talk about a win. Podcasting allows us to feel seen in ways everyday life sometimes doesn't. And I think that's the beauty of it. You don't have to be perfect, polished, or even particularly loud. You just have to be real. That's what resonates. So why has podcasting become my outlet? So for me personally, podcasting started during a time when I needed something, a space to think out loud, to reflect, to heal. I'd always loved helping others, but I didn't realise how much I needed to help myself through that same process. Each episode became a gentle conversation, sometimes with people listening, sometimes with not. Most of the time it's just me and the mic, but always honest. The microphone stopped being intimidating and started feeling like a friend. Someone who listens without interrupting. Someone who lets me be myself unapologetically. Podcasting has become a rhythm and a groundbreaking ritual. And even on the days when I felt I had nothing profound to say, the act of showing up and speaking anyway taught me self-trust. So the science of flow and fulfillment. Have you ever been so absorbed in something that time just disappears? That's called the flow state. Neuroscientists Mihaly, I can't even say his name, it's Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, described it as the state of complete immersion in an activity that brings joy and purpose. I think we'll just call him Mihaly for now. So yeah, it brings joy and purpose. So when I'm podcasting, planning, recording, editing, I feel that flow. My stress drops, my focus sharpens, and my sense of purpose expands. For example, the other day, when I really felt like I just couldn't go on, I podcasted about it, and that felt amazing. And again, science supports that. Flow triggers dopamine release, which boosts motivation and creativity. So when you're doing something you love, whether that's painting, walking, or podcasting, you're literally rewiring your brain for happiness. That's why this podcast isn't just a creative project for me. It's a mental health tool, a spiritual practice, and honestly, a lifeline some days. So I'd like to encourage others to find their voice. So if you've ever thought about starting a podcast or even just journaling or voice noting your thoughts, this is your sign to do it. Don't wait for the perfect mic, the perfect topic, or the perfect plan. Start messy, start honest, start you. Because the world doesn't need another perfect voice, it needs your authentic one. You might be surprised at how healing it feels to speak your truth out loud, to know that someone somewhere will nod along and think, yes, that's me. That's the power of podcasting. It's not about fame or numbers, it's about connection. It's about feeling seen, even if you're the one doing the seeing. As I close today's episode, I want to say thank you. Thank you for being part of this journey with me, for listening, for sharing, for showing up with open hearts and open minds. Podcasting has given me a safe space to grow, to learn, and to heal. And I hope this show has done that for you too. If there's one thing I've learned, it's this. Speaking our truth is brave. Listening deeply is healing, and connecting, even through headphones. It reminds us that we are never truly alone. So whether you're walking your dog, driving home, or just having a quiet moment to yourself, know that you are part of something meaningful. This little community, this shared space of words and hearts, it matters. Until next time, keep being yourself unapologetically, because your voice is your power and the world needs to hear it. I'm sending you love, calm and courage, always. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.